Hello everybody and welcome to a spooktacular Junetober collab video. This is a collaboration that is being run by the Paper Bee and Petals and Parchment. It is set to be a fun month throughout June. Now obviously my video is coming out on the 6th. There have been previous videos. I haven't seen them yet because I'm recording this before it's all started. So I don't know what anybody else has done. But there is a YouTube hop. So each day throughout June there are different YouTube creators, including obviously myself today, who are going to be posting a video sharing their creations. There is so much fun to be had this month, so please check out all of the details below. I know I'm going to forget something, so everything you need to know, links to the Facebook groups, links to the people in the YouTube hop, everything will be listed down below. But there are freebies being given away this month every single day. Those that are doing the YouTube hop are also releasing some freebies as well. Lots of designers releasing freebies. I've got freebies which I'll share with you in just a moment. There are games going on. So again, I've got an ingredient that you're going to need if you want to take part in the game that's going on. And there are prizes at the end of the month. So as I say, so much fun to have. I know I will forget something, so everything will be down below if you want to find out a little bit more. So as I said, there are some freebies to be revealed. Before I share mine, I want to share my game piece, because if I don't, I will forget. So there is a game going on where each person each day is releasing a game piece, and the piece is an ingredient to a witch's spell. Now you can get the game from, I believe, the Petals and Parchment Kofi, but again, I'll have everything listed down below just in case I am wrong, but everything will be down below. But you get your games piece, and then every time you watch a video you need to stick it onto the corresponding day. So I'm going to have my game piece up on the screen now. My ingredient is the spider's silk. So on your game board, make sure that where it has the number 6 for day 6, you stick the spider's silk card on there. So that's my game piece out of the way. I wanted to make sure I did it at the beginning because I knew I would forget. So as I said, freebies. Everybody loves a freebie. Now I'll share you what it makes first so that the freebies actually make sense. So I'm going to be making just a small little album, and this is the album that I have created. I used my Zutter binder tool to be able to bind this, but you can use just the normal kind of single binding rings if you wish to, if that's what you've got. It's entirely up to you. So we've got this spooky looking house on the front cover, and then as you opened up, it's all shaped, which I quite like, and then I've got some spooky tags attached. I have kept some of the backgrounds plain because I want to either be able to stick, I've got a small photo printer, so I want to be able to stick photos or to do some writing. Of course, I could do some writing on the back of these as well, because they're the craft card that I've made the album out of. So we've got that as an option. And then as we turn over, here I've put a side pocket and another tag. So that just slots into there. I've got a little photo frame here because, as I said, I will put a photo there. I have not stuck it down this side just so I can slide a photo in. Then my next page, I'm just making sure I am turning one page, I am. My next page again is just two sort of more plainer backgrounds, so again I've got room for journaling or for sticking something down, and another tag here with a kind of mechanical skull. And then on the next page again you've got that mechanical skull, but this time it's a pocket, and then I've got another tag underneath there and another photo frame. And then again, two plain ones for some journaling and possibly some photos as well. And then on the back, I've got this skeletal figure. So that's my little design for today. And the freebies allow you to make this. So if I share with you the freebies just so you can see. So there are actually two designs. This is the one that I've just shown you. This is the one that I'm going to be doing on camera with you in a moment to show you how it all kind of goes together. So there are two designs that you can do. So this was a spooky house, and we've also now got a tombstone. You also then get the silhouette. So I've done the silhouettes so that you can then add the papers. Now, if you are doing this, so I did mine in Cricut Design Space and I had my Cricut cut everything out. Obviously, for the back side, you are going to have to flip the image. You might be able to do that in your printer settings. I'm not sure. I think my printer, I can flip it, but you'll have to check your printer settings if you want to get the flip side of that. If not, you could print it out like this, then have your patterned paper on the other side, so at least then when you cut it out by hand, it is still the right way round, if that makes sense, for your patterned paper. So that's an option if you're not using a cutting machine. But I use my Cricut Design Space. I just uploaded these and flipped them over. So yeah, so these give you these matted shapes. And then the next page is the bits then which you would cut out to get the shape of the page. So it has this tab as well as the shape all attached. So again, you've got it for both of them. And then to obviously decorate where you haven't got the pattern pages, you've then got these here. So I've got this page which has all kind of the cracks down it and a little bit more sort of grungy, but plain enough that you could still do some writing and journaling on there if you wanted to. And then I've got my final page, which is obviously a bit more decorative, and these are the elements that I've used. So on my tags, I've kind of cut sections out that I thought would look really good. So I've got the mechanical spider, I've got the mechanical skull, I've got my skeleton man there, I've got my creepy crow, and again that tombstone. So I have used elements from this and kind of chose which parts I wanted for this. But yeah, so hopefully those freebies you will enjoy and be able to make something with. As I said, I'm done this one off camera, but I will be doing this on camera so you can see how it is put together. So I'm just going to carefully bring it all over because I have, and I'm just going to have that one in the corner so we can still see it. I have obviously prepped and got things together. So tags, I would have thought most of us know how to make. So I have already stuck those down and I've got them on my cardstock, that craft card. So I'm going to put those two on side for a moment because we don't need those. So as you can see, everything has been cut out. So I've got my tombstone. I have inked around the edge already. And then this is how it will look as the base. So you've got that tab so I'm able to bind. And then obviously you've got the tombstone shape. So that fits nicely on there and we'll get stuck down in a moment. Then on the reverse side, as I said, in Cricut Design Space, I just flipped the image and then you've got it so it fits nicely on the other side, and you've still just got that edge where I'm going to do the binding. Now I have already gone through this and thought about where I want things, so I've got again some more of those photo frames. So I'm going to stick one on this side. They're actually a perfect fit for inside here, so I'm going to have one there. And the nice thing about this one, because obviously this one's a bit taller, I could potentially move my photo frame a little bit higher, and then I've got some room here to journal, to sort of talk about what's going on in the photo. On this side I've got this plain sheet here, and then what I have done, I'll just grab that front one again, where I've obviously got this more decorative one, I've just chopped off what would be the bottom of the tombstone, and then I'm going to use that as a pocket. So that's going to be my pocket down at the bottom of the page. And then I've pretty much done similar things all the way through. This one I've done a slightly more shaped pocket because I really love this skull. I didn't want to cover it up too much. So I've got more of a shaped pocket. So we've got that rose there at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to have on that one. But this one doesn't have a photo frame because I thought I could just do some journaling on that one. And then as we flick through, it then just repeats. So I've got, again, my photo frame, I've got my pocket down at the bottom. This one I did a top pocket because I didn't want to cover him up, but it was not quite bare up there. We have got some kind of cobwebby stuff coming down, but I had that mechanical spider, so I've cut that out, and then that's going to fit there, and then I've got a top loading pocket there. So that's that one. Let's flip that over. Here it's going to be much of the same. So you've got your photo frame, you've got your bottom pocket, and then we come to the back. So as I said, to save some time, I have already gone through and inked everything, so it is literally just about gluing everything down. So let's get some glue and get started. Now, as I said, I am recording this in advance, so I haven't seen what the other people have created yet. But I always love these types of collaborations because everybody always does something so very different. Now, considering obviously it's a spooky theme and lots of us make journals and things like that, you would expect some similarities, but it always surprises me how creative people are. So I'm very excited to see what the other people in the YouTube hop make. I know some of the papers that have already been shown from Petals and Parchment are really lovely, so I know that you're going to love working with the kits that are available and all of the freebies that will be coming out as well. Now, the nice thing about this is if you wanted to use designs from another designer, that's absolutely fine for your backing pages. You have still got the silhouettes to be able to make this, and obviously the templates to then shape whatever patterned paper you want to use. So that obviously is a bonus. Right, let's get these stuck down. So we've got that one, and I'm going to flip it over and we can do the back. Now I'm probably going to do the same with this one, in that when I stick down my photo frame, I'm going to leave it open on one side so that I can slot a photo in there. I have a mini photo printer that does print out teeny tiny little photos, and it's actually a really great size for these photo frames. So that just goes on there like so. Now I must say this project was made really easy with my Cricut machine, but like I said, it is doable without a Cricut machine, but I just found it so easy using mine. So I'm just going to put a thin piece of glue along the top and down the side, and then, as I said, I want to keep this side open so that I can slot a photo in. And I'm going for the outside rather than the inside, because obviously this is where I'm going to have the ring, so it's going to be a bit awkward trying to slot a photo in. So I'm making sure that it's the other side that is open. And I'm just going to pop that on there. Okay, so that's essentially one page done. And they come together really quickly. Once everything's cut out, the cutting out does obviously take a while. Even when you are using a Cricut machine, it does take a little while. Especially because I was trying to work out what bits needed to be backwards, what things needed to be reversed. I was also trying to look for different areas to cut as well, not that all the papers looked exactly the same. So I was trying to get some, like I said, with the tombstone, some with the skeletal man, some with the mechanical skull, just so it did look a little bit different on some of the pages. But yeah, right, so this one's going to go there. Now, because obviously it's quite wide here, I can glue quite a lot of the side here, because obviously nothing's really going to go down in there, is it? And then I can just obviously put some glue along the bottom and then pop that over the top. I think I've gone a bit eager beaver with glue in some areas, but never mind. And I'm not going to shove all my tags and things in yet. I want to wait for the glue to dry. So that's that side. Flip it over. Then we've got this one. Now, I was trying to think whether I did Junetober last year. I've got a feeling I didn't, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. Can't remember if I did. But I have done a couple of the events. Elizabeth from Petals and Parchment used to be on my design team, and she's done a couple of collaborations. She did the Nutcracker one, which I absolutely loved. I'm assuming that must have been around Christmas time. It feels like it should have been a Christmas one. Yeah, so I can't remember whether I did the Junetober last year, because I think this is the second time they're doing the Junetober. But I've got a feeling I probably didn't do it last year. I mean, I have to say, I'm not really a Halloween person. But I did make this kind of a bit more steampunky, so it is a little bit more of my taste, shall we say. Right, so for this one, I just want obviously a thin bead along here. Again, the edge, I can be a little bit more generous with the glue. And then lay that on top. But yeah, it did take a long time doing all of the inking on this one. And just trying to figure out where I wanted my pockets, because like I said, there were certain things that I did not want to cover up. So yeah, it just took a little bit of working out, but once it's all done and it starts coming together, it looks quite effective, I think. So I do hope that this is something that you will enjoy putting together as well. Right, so that's that one, and this one actually has a photo frame again. So again, if it goes this way, this is the bit I don't want to glue, so I'm going to keep my thumb there just to remind me. I'm going to put some glue around that edge. Again, just pop that on there. The nice thing about the Burley Art glue is it does dry clear, so even if it does eke out a little bit, it doesn't really matter. Right, next one. And we're actually going through them quite quickly now, aren't we? So okay, so now we're on the back page, and I try to keep the back page a little bit more sort of decorative, so rather than a plain one, I did the same on this one as well. I was debating of trying to create this, but then I thought, well, then you've got rip, and because it needs to be flipped, that would mean that's backwards, and that would annoy me, so I just went with that one. I thought it still has the tombstone on, so that's what I decided to go with. So I just wanted something a bit decorative on the back, because I'm not going to put any tags or anything on the back here, because obviously when the book's closed and it's on a shelf or wherever it's going to then get caught if you've got things then attached to the back. So I just wanted something a little bit more decorative along the back. And there we are. So now that we've got those, I am just going to swap these over and put my lid on. Get rid of those two. Got very gluey hands. Right, okay. So let's just turn all these back over the right way. Now, before I start filling them up and putting all of the tags in there, I am going to do the binding. So I am using my Zutter binder tool. So I'll kind of bring it in a little bit for you, just so you can kind of see. I might need to put it round this way though. So this is my Zutter binder tool. I actually got this second hand from a D-Stash group, but it's absolutely brilliant. It is the best £20 I think I have spent, because it is amazing. Now I am only using small binding rings. These ones are the 3/8 of an inch, so 9.5 millimeters if you are interested. And your Zutter will punch 6 holes. I only want 5 of them. So I did do, although I can't see it on my desk, there it is, hiding. So I did do a little bit of a template. So I was trying to measure where it needed to be, so that it fits the bottom of these. So I'm just going to grab, I think I'll do 2 at a time. And the way that I did this, because when I'm putting this in, I'm trying to line it up so that it comes just before where it would punch that 6th hole, because I don't want 6 holes, I want 5. So I was trying to line it up, but the problem is obviously when this piece then disappears into the machine, I can't see where it was. So I did this taller piece, which I cut to be the right width, and then I used that as my guide. So I'm going to push this in, and I might need to pull it over just so I can push the handle down. And then if you can see, I'm trying to line it up, like I said, with the edge of that last square where it punches. I'm just going to line it up and then push down and punch like so. And then obviously I've got the holes in that one anyway, but it's punched those holes. Flip that over, I'll grab my next 2, and then I'm going to do the same again. So I'm just going to use this as my guide when they are going in here. So I do apologise because I know that you probably can't see exactly what I'm seeing, but it's just so I can get those holes in. And last ones. Okay, so that's all of my holes punched. Then I obviously need to cut this down a little bit because I only want 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to cut it in between here. Get rid of those. Then you need to bring the front, or sorry, the back piece. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that is the back piece. The back piece round to the front. I'm going to slip these in. Do I want it that way? Yeah, I think I want it that way. So slip those in, and then I'm going to bind on here. Oh, let's just move it forward. That's it. And then that's bound those together. So now I can flip this round to the back, and there it is. So now comes the fun part. Now I probably should have said that I've done 6 pages. I think that's right, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so I've done 6 pages. I did 6 on the other one as well. Obviously you can make this as thin or as thick as you like. I was only doing 6 because I knew I only had small rings, so I didn't want to make anything too chunky. So let's see how many pockets we've got. So I've got 1. Oh, hang on a sec. Right, sorry about that. So I've got 1 pocket. I've got 2. There's one there, isn't there? Yeah. So I've got 2 pockets, 3 pockets, 4 pockets, 5 pockets. How many of these have I got? I think it's perfect, isn't it? Yeah, I've got 5 of those. Excellent. That helps. Right. So then I just need to put in my ribbons at the top. Now, last time I did gather some that I thought might be quite nice. So I've got this kind of, it's a sari silk, but it's got some kind of bits of gold and greys and things in there. I've got this, which I just inked to give it, again, a bit more of a grungy look. And then I've got this silvery colour as well. So I think I'm going to use bits of those. So let's have a look at what we've got. So I think he looks quite good with this colour. So I might do that again. And I have only cut these quite short. I didn't want them particularly long, so that they're all kind of sticking out. So I'm just going to pop that in. And then, like I said, I'm just keeping it short. I don't want anything too massive. Obviously, if you want to, that's entirely up to you. And then that slots in there. So we've got 1. Then we've got this one, which again I think is a bottom pocket, isn't it? What do we want in there? See, I've got a feeling that these tags might be, oh no, actually it fits quite nicely. I wasn't sure if it'd be, because where I've got to glue it down the side here, I wasn't sure whether it would actually fit, but it does. See, I'm thinking that one I want for a different page. Do I want the spider? Might do the spider, and then I'm going to do this because this could look a bit like a spider web, couldn't it? So let's go with that one. And like I said, I'm still just keeping these bits short. I'm not doing them overly long. And that bit goes in there, like so. And to make sure I'm actually turning one page, I am only turning one page, that's good. Then we've got another pocket. So what have we got? Got these three left. So as I said, this one I want to keep for something else. Maybe we'll put that one in there. But again, because he's quite blue, I'm going to use this colour again. And just pop that in there. And then, see, that's a top pocket. That's where I wanted to use this one. So I'm not going to put any ribbon on this one because obviously I want it to be able to slot in there, and that's not going to work. It's going to be too bulky if I put any ribbon in there. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I think that looks pretty cool actually, the way that that's kind of poking down. So that leaves the last pocket to be this one, and I think I'm going to use the grey. Oh, got threads all over the shop. Doesn't help that I've got gluey hands either because it's all now sticking to me. And then that one's going to go in here. So I'm just going to find that hole. Oh, and push that through. Where has it gone? There it is. There we go, like so. And again, if you wanted to kind of embellish further, you can put little dangles and charms and things on here. But yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. And then, as I said, I've got room for pictures. I've got some room for journaling as well. But I think it looks really, really cute. Okay, so there we are. We have two different style albums. As I said, you have all of the freebies available to download. You can find them in the Paperbee Facebook group. That's where all of the freebies are going to be for this month. As I said, I did use my Cricut machine for mine, but you can absolutely use it and cut it by hand if you wish. I really hope that you have enjoyed this project. Please go and check out everybody else. As I said, I always love these types of collaborations because everybody does such totally different things, and it's really fun and inspiring seeing what other people will be making. As I said at the beginning of the video, I'm sure I've forgotten a piece of information. Everything will be down below in the description, including all the links to all the Facebook groups and shops and things that you need to get to be able to get the digitals, the freebies, and take part in the game. Just a reminder that my game piece is the ingredient of Spider's Silk, so make sure that that gets stuck onto your number 6 box because obviously it's day 6 today. And then when you reach the end of June and you've got all of your witch's spell filled up, you'll be able to be in for the chance of winning some prizes. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.